So some time ago, I had Shinblade on my podcast. You guys know Shinblade is a very popular Tekken player. And honestly, it was the best podcast I've ever done. I had a lot of laughs on that podcast. If you haven't seen it before, I would definitely recommend going and checking it out if you want to have some light-hearted viewing time.
Was like pretty broken, like a lot of us did on this side. Well,
A lot of the red
us
ranks.
did. Like season 1. You take him on red rank, Dr. Fate? How long, y'all? Dr. Fate, do you think I'm on red rank?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, bro.
All right. So one of the things I was gonna say is, I believe with season.
Before I had Shinblade on that podcast, I had a few people reach out to me and say to me, "Don't have him on there." And since I had him on the podcast, I had people reach out to me saying, "Why did you have him on there?" And whilst I don't really owe anyone an explanation, in this particular situation with Shinblade, I do want to talk about it a little bit because it has become very commonplace in this community, and to be honest with you, just in society in general, that we hear a story about somebody, we make a decision with no evidence whatsoever, and we just leave them outside to dry. It's like somebody will come forward with a story. The story sounds believable, it sounds elaborate, it sounds like it could have happened. You might not like that person in particular, you might have a vendetta against a particular gender, as people do, and you just run with it. There's nothing to really stick to the person, but it sounds good in your head, so you go with it. And so I had Shinblade on my podcast because I reviewed a lot of the things that were going on, and I don't know about you guys, but I believe that you are innocent until proven guilty. And based on what I was sent, and based on what I saw, and to be honest with you guys, I forgot about that whole situation. It was brought to my attention when I announced that Shinblade was going to be on my podcast. And so I went back and I watched some stuff. I watched some stuff that was sent to me. I read over some chat logs. And I thought to myself, well, this isn't evidence. I'm not going to damn a guy or ostracize him. And I will do the same thing for a woman as well. You have to have hard evidence if you're going to throw around claims. And if you're wondering what I'm referring to, if you're not privy to the whole situation with Shinblade, some time ago, I believe in 2023, Shinblade was accused of going to his truck with a particular individual that we will name later on in this video through Shinblade's statement, and going to the truck and assaulting the individual. The individual that made the claims on Shinblade said that there was sexual assault that took place, and he did all manner of things that you shouldn't do to a woman. Now, I want you to remember, it's an accusation. It is not a conviction. It is not him being found guilty. It is somebody saying that he did something and he's saying that he didn't do it. It's an accusation. Very important to remember that word because people seem to forget. When they hear something that makes sense to them or that they want to push, they go with it. It's just an accusation. But that is what he was accused of, and it blew up. It was all over FGC News. I know Button Check had covered it. I had spoken about it with friends in private, but I never really got into it on camera, mostly because at the time I was off of YouTube. But that is the long and short of it. We will go into that in a little bit more detail in just a moment. And I mostly just left it alone. I said, I'm going to do my podcast. We'll have a good time. We'll see how it goes and we'll go from there. But I did see a post on Twitter that has kind of prompted me to do this video. Now, admittedly, the post was about 10 days ago now. But the reason I didn't do the video straight away is that there is a mountain of screenshots, videos, voice recordings, and allegations being thrown around regarding this situation. And I just happen to have seen a lot of them. Don't worry about where I got the information. I have just seen a lot of them. And so before making this video, I wanted to really understand everything properly, understand it from both sides of the conversation. And after spending about a week going over everything, I've kind of come to the conclusion that this situation has zero hard evidence against Shinblade. Now, there's a difference between soft evidence and hard evidence, but I'm going to get to that in a little bit. What I don't understand is why would you dogpile somebody if you don't know that they've done something? To me, in these situations, regardless of who it is, the only thing that should matter is the truth. Did somebody do what people are accusing them of? Do we have any way to prove it? But that's not what happens in this community, unfortunately. Somebody says something about you, and then people decide which way they're going to lean. They don't particularly look into it. They have no reason to stand against you, and then they ostracize you. And through these screenshots I've been reading, I've got to say there are a lot of spineless people that didn't have all of the facts, that maybe they were a little bit skeptical and then decided to ostracize Shinblade because they were more worried about the blowback and their perception in the community rather than just doing what the right thing would be. Now, I personally don't care. All I care about is if somebody is in the wrong or in the right. and getting to the bottom of that. And the reason that I'm making a video on this is that I've seen all the screenshots, I've seen all the messages, I've seen the screen recordings, I've seen the videos, I've seen how many people have dogpiled Shinblade on this situation and just not wanted to hear him out. Now, do you remember when I said that there's a difference between soft evidence and hard evidence? Soft evidence is subjective. It relies on opinions, it often leans on favor, it is open to interpretations, and oftentimes people's perceptions can shape the way they're going to move forward with it. Hard evidence is measurable. Hard evidence is verifiable. Hard evidence cannot be disputed. If somebody has hard evidence on you, you are essentially screwed. And that's all that should matter here. Being objective is what should matter. But that's not what we care about. We care about dogpiling. And most recently, there was a Twitter user. Now, I'm not going to put their name on the screen because they even went as far as reposting me and making a joke about it. It seemed to me it was more about clout. And I don't really want to give this individual any sort of clout in any way, shape, or form. So I'm going to post a message to you guys. But you probably would have already seen it because it did blow up on Twitter. I even had something to say about it. Like I said, he reposted what I had to say, even though I was kind of ripping into him. This individual must have come across Shinblade on Tekken Ranked. He beat Shinblade and then posted this message on Twitter. Just whooped y'all's favorite sex offender. Now this tweet gained a ton of traction. And obviously Shinblade saw it. Now, like I said, there's no hard evidence to be calling somebody a sex offender. That is an extremely damning thing to say. And on Twitter of all apps, where people don't tend to use their brains, they're going to see that. They're going to see everyone's having a laugh at this person's expense, dogpiling them, and retweet it, make jokes, make memes. All the while, there is an individual sitting behind their computer or looking on their phone as the whole community starts dogpiling them. Do you ever take a second to think about what you're doing to these individuals? Like, actually sit there and think about it. Think about the number that you're seeing going up. It was sent in group chats, it was sent in discords. Do you ever stop and think about the individual that you're making the accusation about? Like, we don't know. There's no hard evidence, like I said, and yet you're throwing that around. And I know some of you, like, you think it's funny, but what I find funny is that it's always the people that are preaching inclusivity that do the most disgusting and heinous things. So they dragged him on Twitter for that, even though it's not substantiated whatsoever. And like I said, I'm not going to go over the messages right now because I want Shinblade here when the time is right. And there is going to be a part 2 to this, but that will be on live stream. I want Shinblade here to go over the messages with me. But there were a lot of tournament organizers, a lot of content creators, and a lot of personalities in the Tekken space and just the wider FGC that openly told Shinblade that they do not want to be seen working with him, acknowledging the fact that there's no real evidence here. They don't want to be seen working with him because it doesn't make them look good. Ostracizing somebody in your community who is having a finger pointed at him, all of the claims unsubstantiated, and you're pushing him aside because you care about how you look. I mean, there's no other way to say it. That is spineless behavior. I thought the C stood for community. Now, you ain't gonna talk shit to me because I saw it. I saw that Shinblade is a part of the community. I looked at what was going on and I said, well, this is not hard evidence. So I'm not gonna convict him. I'm not gonna push him out. I'm not gonna text him and say, hey, do you know what? A couple of people don't like the fact that you're coming on my podcast, so I'm not having you on. And again, I want you to sit and think about what that does to somebody. Imagine it was somebody that you knew. It was your little brother. It was your cousin. It was your friend. And you know for a fact, you've got evidence to prove that they didn't do this thing. And you're sitting there and you're watching them get dragged by thousands of people. Now, the reason that I am going to do a part 2 on this is because the things that are going to be in that part 2 of this video are going to be incredibly damning. But I don't want to do Shinblade a disservice by just divulging all of this information now, even though he's given me full permission to post a bunch of screenshots in here. I think it's better if we do this live. So if anybody has a problem with it, they can show up to the live stream. I'll put them on there and they can make their case. I have no issue doing that whatsoever. I'm sure Shinblade won't either, especially considering the fact that from what I can see and what I know is going to come out, is not going to look good. But to the tournament organizers that are saying that people have come forward to you and we've had 1 or 2 complaints or 3 complaints from different girls, well, what about the people that are saying he didn't do anything? Are their voices not important in this? If you're going to ostracize Shinblade for this matter, not knowing for certain if he did anything, wouldn't the fair thing to do be, well, when we actually find out who's in the wrong here, we'll let you all back in? No, instead, you take the word of some people that you probably don't even know no because you don't want to look bad. And instead of giving this man a fair shake, you decide to kick him out. Doesn't this sound very familiar to you guys? How many times are we going to kick people out of communities with unsubstantiated claims or bogus reasons and keep them out to make ourselves look good or feel good? And then when the worst should happen, then people want to start posting, oh, you know, I felt so bad and I tried and I blah, 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 blah. Now, I understand that you can't always prove these things. I get it. If a guy did the things that Shinblade is being accused of, how do you prove it? I understand that. There's going to be cases like that. There could be somebody that comes to your house, for example. Let's say that you're doing YouTube stuff and you invite some girl over, the cameras go off, you do something to her. How does she prove it? I get that. I understand all of that. But at the same time, when you come forward with your accusation and you point the finger at this guy, what exactly are we supposed to do? Just believe you? That doesn't make any sense to me. Now, before anyone says, well, Mike, what if it was your sister? Yeah, I understand. I'm a human being. I'll probably get more emotional if it's my sister, obviously. Duh. Let's not be stupid. If my sister came up to me and said to me, Mike, so-and-so did this to me, but she couldn't prove it, she's my sister. I'm biased, obviously. But luckily, that's why I am not the court. And luckily, that's why you guys are not the court. Now, Shinblade has been hung by court of public opinion, which is not fair. And then you dogpile him. And the thing is like I said, we've seen this happen before. Axe, God rest his soul, was dogpiled by people, called names, bogus reasons to keep him out of the community. And look what happened. How many times do these things have to happen in order for people to stop doing this stupid shit? Now look, if something did come out that was completely damning, I would say, okay, cool. You've got evidence then. That's fine. But this video wouldn't go down because the point wouldn't change. At this moment in time, it is he said, she said. Until the legal proceedings finish and Shinblade is happy and ready to start divulging things, it is he said, she said. So then why are tournament organizers banning just one person? If you don't want the smoke at all, isn't the more fair thing to do to just ban everybody? Or just ban nobody at all and try to keep an eye on the situation as best that you can. Again, what are people supposed to do fairly here when there's no evidence? Now, I want to read off something here that is from Shinblade. It's the only thing that I'm going to read off that was sent over to me. And I just want you guys to hear it because it seems to me like a lot of people just don't want to hear it from his side. And I figured, you know, since I had him on the podcast, it was a more lighthearted one. We weren't talking about any of that stuff. I do think, based on everything that I've seen, it's fair to listen to his side of it. I mean, why not? I would do the exact same thing for a woman. If a woman came forward to me and she told me that a person had done X, Y, and Z and she felt like she could prove it, I would hear her out. If the whole community was saying to her, oh, we don't want to hear it, we don't want to hear it, what if he actually did that to her? And so the fair thing to do would be to listen to both sides. Now, we've heard one side of it and we're going to listen to that side of it again at some point in time whenever Shinblade is ready, like I said on a live stream. But on this side of it, I'm going to read out Shinblade's statement here and the emotional toll that is taken on him. To all it may concern, my name is Marcus Shinblade Taylor, an active competitor in the fighting game community for more than 20 years. It is my hope that as a leader, you can distinguish between what is rumor, what is opinion, what is belief, and what is fact. I understand as a leader, the decision-making process can be challenging, and it is important that decisions are made not based on opinions and beliefs, but facts. I recognize this because I am building a brand and know how important it is to not have personal biases. At this juncture, I would like to provide a timeline of events and give an account for what is happening in the FGC to me from my perspective in efforts to clear up any misinformation and debunk recorded and written lies related to false allegations that have been made against me. On December 31st, 2023, a fellow competitor and now former friend, Shadow20Z, used his Twitter X platform to post a twitlonger accusing me of sexually assaulting a friend of his known as Angel20Z. Nicole Whitaker, at a gaming event, Combo Breaker, in May of 2023. The tweet, which is currently still posted, includes a 10-minute video recorded by the alleged victim along with a 4-minute unauthorized recorded phone call between Marcus and me. I think it is important to note the phone call took place after several back and forth unresolved text messages between us. I have not spoken with Marcus or Angel since the allegations have been posted. I posted to my own Twitter X platform, which I only use for gaming content, a response video acknowledging that I am aware of the allegations. The allegations are false and how I intended to proceed. I did not provide any additional context because again my intent was to seek out legal counsel. Let me reiterate, the allegations are false. Combo Breaker, May 26, 2023. Shadow20Z introduced Angel20Z to my girlfriend and me for the first time. Prior to this day, I had never met, connected through social media, or interacted with Angel20Z. Angel20Z alleged in her video I mentioned that I had noticed her in my stream before. That is false. Shadow20Z was vocal about wanting to participate in the auction tournament, cash only, but stated he did not have funds to enter and his sponsor, who was there with him, never has any money. I offered to pay for his entry if he wanted to play. We were friends and he accepted. Angel20Z alleged in her video, I begged so bad for Shadow to play in the auction tournament. That is false. I offered several people at the venue drinks, including Angel20Z, who was amongst the group of individuals when I made the offer. Some people accepted, some people declined. She accepted. Angel20Z alleged in her video, immediately after Shadow entered the tournament, I asked if she wanted to go drink. That is false. The beverage offered was in my vehicle not far from the venue's entrance, and anyone who wanted to partake walked to my vehicle with me. Angel20Z followed me to my vehicle just as everyone else who accepted the offer. Angel20Z alleged in her video, once we made it out of the venue, I asked her what she was on and that I had seen her Twitter. That is false. Once we made it to my vehicle, she spoke about being cold. She mentioned being cold in her video. So we sat in the front seats of my truck as I offered her the bottle to pour her own beverage. I then poured my own. During this brief time, she proceeded to pull up her Twitter page on her phone and show me videos of her performing oral sex. She was explicit in her conversation at this point and inquired if my penis was circumcised because she prefers a certain cut of penis. Be mindful, I am paraphrasing. Being caught off guard, I did confirm I was not circumcised, but that I was also not interested in her banter. There was no physical contact between Angel20Z and me at all in my vehicle, aside from me handing her the bottle to pour her drink. I did not ask her to do anything sexual with me or for me. Prior to leaving the vehicle, my girlfriend called and asked where I was because the food we ordered had arrived. I told her in the presence of Angel20Z that I was at the truck with Shadow's friend, Angel, getting her a drink and I would be in momentarily. We got out of the truck. Angel20Z stated several times she felt played. I asked her what she meant, but she never answered. At that point, we went directly back to the venue, cups in hand. Upon entering the main hall of the venue, my girlfriend met us with pizza in hand. She offered Angel20Z pizza, which she declined, stating she was not hungry and was going to go find Marcus. Angel20Z alleged in her video, I groped her, I exposed my penis to her, and I asked her to let me put it in, which is all false. I followed her to her vehicle and attempted to dry hump her in a parking lot as she was bending over in her car while stating I did not care and that people could watch. She had no idea I had a girlfriend, who my girlfriend was, or that my girlfriend even was at the venue. As I was preparing to leave the venue, Shadow20Z confronted me and accused me of forcing Angel20Z to perform oral sex and that I needed to apologize. I advised Marcus I had no idea what he was speaking about and that there was never any physical or sexual contact made between myself and Angel. He insisted I was not being honest, and at this point we parted ways. Marcus called me later that evening and asked me to talk. I drove to his hotel and we spoke again, but to no avail. He insisted I did what Angel20Z accused and that I needed to admit it and apologize. I told Marcus I would not be apologizing for something I did not do and I was not going to submit to something I did not do. At this point, there was a problem with no resolution and again we parted ways. CEO June 23 to 25th, 2023. I saw Shadow20Z in passing. No contact or conversation was made between us. Evo August 4th till the 6th, 2023. HyperX Esports Arena was hosting a pre-Evo tournament. I saw Shadow20Z and Angel20Z at the event. Angel20Z approached my girlfriend and me and gave us both a hug. During the weekend, a fellow FGC competitor hosted a kickback in his suite. There were several people in attendance, including Shadow20Z and Angel20Z. Angel20Z spoke to me and joined a card game with my girlfriend. The Spirit Realm Online Tournament, December 2023. While streaming, I competed against Shadow20Z and lost. Shadow20Z teabagged my character, which I responded to with trash talk in the chat, as many if not most competitors do. Shadow20Z responded to the chat with tell the chat why I teabagged you. This chatter went back and forth and eventually ended. December 21st, 2023. I received a phone call from my girlfriend upset because Shadow20Z and Angel20Z had contacted her and told her I had sexually assaulted Angel20Z at Combo Breaker and they wanted an apology. Because I was not privy to this conversation, I am unable to speak to what was discussed on the call outside of what was told to me. Marcus texted me after contacting my girlfriend and asked did I want to come clean now. We exchanged text messages back and forth and I stood on the fact that nothing happened between Angel20Z and me, and just like I had told him 7 months prior. I was not going to admit something I did not do. In the final text message exchanges, Marcus alluded to threatening by posting these allegations on Twitter. He followed through on his implied threat. December 31st, 2023. January 2nd, 2024, Marcus once again used his platform and notoriety in the FGC to hold a Twitter space for 4 hours, inviting individuals who were not aware of or involved in the situation to give their input and opinions. During this space, he and Angel20Z reiterated the false allegations, making changes to the original accusations made when he confronted me at Combo Breaker in May 2023, as well as the video and post made December 31st, 2023. Present day, my name, brand and integrity are being discussed in the most disrespectful manner as these individuals continue to perpetuate this false narrative about me throughout the FGC. I have lost followers, connections and recently banned from participating in online tournaments. Although my daily life mental health and anxiety levels have suffered gravely and continue to be affected by the events of these false allegations, I am appreciative of the people in the FGC who have shown me continued support and respect. Note, I have original text messages, screenshots, witness accounts and screen recordings to corroborate my position in this matter available upon request. Marcus Shinblade Taylor. I also quickly want to touch on the emotional distress and the isolation that Shinblade has faced following these allegations. He wrote, ever since the post Marcus Shadow 20Z made, Marcus has received numerous messages calling him names, dehumanizing him, along with people wishing him death or jail time. He has also been called a predator and a sex offender. These are just a few examples of the things that have been posted to him. These are just a few of the many comments on Twitter like this. Marcus has been subsequently banned from many if not all online events in his respective games due to the outcry of people requesting him to get banned or due to tournament organizers taking it upon themselves to ban him due to Nicole Whitaker's statement. There are even bracket runners who are refusing to work if Marcus joins their tournament. He was also banned from an offline tournament by the name of CEO Community Effort Orlando, a tournament he's attended almost every year since 2015. The owner of this tournament announced his ban publicly on Twitter and refused to undo the ban until the legal case, if any, is settled. He is also currently prohibited from entering Combo Breaker, the tournament where the assault allegedly happened, until further notice. And then there are multiple screenshots here. Now these screenshots go on for some time. There are loads of them. When I mean loads, I mean it is almost endless. Like I said, I spent a week reading through a lot of things and understanding it and getting a lot of different messages from loads of different perspectives on this whole situation. Now, like I said, I have no love whatsoever for pedos, predators, sex pests or anything of the like. So if information hypothetically did come out that was hard evidence, irrefutable evidence to damn Shinblade, then of course my stance would remain consistent on that. But my problem with this situation is that there's no hard evidence and everybody has damned him anyway. Exactly what is everyone working off here? He said, she said. So he gets banned. His livelihood basically gets thrown in the toilet. And he's put through mental anguish because someone accused him of something that nobody knows is true. That is the problem here. This community loves finding a villain and dogpiling them. Now my question is, when all the dust has settled and everything comes out, and like I said, there will be a part 2, what are the tournament organizers going to do then? How are they going to move forward with this? There's a lot of people that have thrown around a lot of accusations. If you were going to do this to Shinblade with no proof, let's say the proof comes out, what are you going to do then? This is one of those unfortunate stories in this community that you do need to speak about. It doesn't matter how long ago it might have happened because it is still ongoing. The situation is ongoing and that's why this is only going to be a part 1. But it's very important to bring these to light because we can't just damn people because A, we don't like them, or maybe it sounds believable, or in your own mind you're like, why would somebody lie about this? You need proof. What if it happened to you? What if someone did this to you and there was no proof? Imagine how you would feel. The whole community calling you these things, which is obviously going to get out. These things get out. They go to other people. They might go to brands. They might go to future employment opportunities. And you've just ruined somebody's livelihood. So this is what I think should happen. If it comes out that these people have been telling porkies, all the people involved that have been telling porkies should be banned for however long you were going to ban Shinblade for. And from the looks of it, it seems that you didn't want to let him back. So extend that same punishment for them trying to ruin his life. If it comes out that he's telling the truth. And every tournament organizer, every content creator, and every personality in this space that banned Shinblade from their chats, that said, hey, I don't want to get caught up in this, it's bad for my perception with the public, even though I don't know if you're telling the truth, or you just can't come and play and earn some money like you've been doing for however long you've been in the scene. All of you owe him an apology. But I guess we'll wait and see. We'll wait until these legal proceedings end, and then you'll see Shinblade back on here. And like I said, I'm an equal opportunities person. If someone did the things being alleged in here, then you're not going to see me switch up just because I might like the person. It's illegal to do that. It's a criminal offense. Those are criminal. You should be charged for doing things like that. And I'm not going to be nice to somebody doing something like that. But as far as I can see, based on the overwhelming evidence that is sitting in front of me right now, that we will discuss at a later date. Granted, I'm not going to sit here and say that I have all of the information. It's still an ongoing situation, but I have enough for me to raise eyebrows at certain people. The reason I wanted to put this out is because if you're watching this and you're thinking, wow, why do people do these things? Good. But maybe there's some people watching this that have it in their mind that it is fun to dogpile people when you have no evidence to do so. It's okay to sit there on your little anime profile picture behind an anonymous account and just rip into somebody, but actually stop and think about what you're doing to their mental health. This person's done nothing to you directly. You've heard something and you said, fuck it. Memes, insults, take your own life, hope you lose your job, this, that, and the other. No care in the world for the home life. Maybe the mum is looking at the situation. Maybe we should exercise some decorum and be a little bit rational and play this properly and let it play out in court or play out the way it needs to. And then when we have evidence, whether it's Shinblade lying or it's Shadow lying, Shadow 20Z or Angel 20Z, whoever's lying, then when we know who's lying definitively, then you can be like, okay, cool. This person is a liar or this person is a sex pest. Now we have grounds to start ripping into them. But people don't wait for that. And then something bad will happen. They'll go, oh, I wish I would have said something. The same shit every time. Anyways, guys, there will be a part 2 on this. Rest assured. And I'll see you guys then. Take care and peace.